I'm Kate.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Sonia.
And today we're dishing with you from Tandoori Nights, located at 2800 North Clarendon Boulevard in Arlington, Virginia.
Tandoori being the stove or the clay oven that they make the chicken in, that red chicken that you
And why
eat.
would you know that?
Because I'm Indian.
I had no idea.
For once, my heritage coming in handy.
Very important,
Useful
actually.
for something.
That's right.
Speaking of useful, we have our guest today is Emma Hall, who is a Metro blogger for Metro Ventures.
Right.
Indeed.
Her
Yeah,
blog. My blog.
Your blog.
Your blog.
I don't want to take any credit on the behalf of WMATA, but yes.
Maybe you should.
No.
Yeah,
And we've met before because
Yes.
you were a blogger in the past for Fashion Matters, related to Goodwill and everything else. But
Yep.
what is this blog about?
This is basically my attempt to make sure I don't sit home watching Law and Order rerun marathons.
Wait, is
you
there
and I
something
are
wrong
best
with
friends.
Because I was falling into
Yes.
ruts, and so I like you said, I blog professionally. I wanted to blog for my free time. What's something fun and exciting that I hadn't seen anybody doing? Riding all of the Metro bus routes and visiting all the Metro trains.
When you say Metro, are you talking about just the DC Metro or the Metro area?
Yeah, so I'm
So do
talking,
you go out to Huntington?
I do, because the train goes out there,
Okay.
so we're not talking art, ride on, all that stuff. So if it's on the Metro website, or if it's a DDOT transportation form, like the circulator buses, or the hopefully soon to be launched streetcars.
So we're not just talking about the underground metro. We're
Yeah.
talking about buses. We're talking
The
about
public transportation.
Yep.
the whole
but no marked
enchilada.
trains.
No, but
No
nobody
more
cares about
trains.
our trains.
No. But it's interesting because when you say metro, people think trains
Yes.
almost exclusively. I'm one of the things I'm out to show is that trains and buses, speak closely to each other. They complement each other. It's a whole system for a reason. So maybe think about different ways of getting around.
Okay, so the Metro train hike price. Good, bad, ugly, you think it's worth it? Think it should be more or less?
I think it's good.
Really?
I especially like the peak of peak pricing. So there's rush hour times, but now there's peak of peak.
Really?
And the pricing goes up for that, but I think it's a good thing.
I think it should just be a flat rate, $2 for everybody. If you're going just a little distance, $2. If you're going a long distance, $2. It all washes out in the end. They do it in New York. I know we're not in New York. Why can't we just do it here?
Wow,
Yeah.
commentary. You may want to do a little guest
It's a more
blog.
complicated system here, but we've got to raise the funds, otherwise the system is just going to fall apart.
I agree.
So it's not that huge of a hike. There's only a 10-cent hike on buses. I think price cuts really affect people who ride buses more than they affect people who ride trains. And they're also raising parking rates and bike locker fees. So it pretty much hits
Across the board.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite? Do you really like the metro? Do you really like the bus? Do you really like, the concept of streetcars? What's going to be your favorite?
I love the concept of streetcars. It's cool, it's modern, it's an interesting way to get it
Does it go anywhere you want to go?
I have to say, I had not been to H Street until an event that I did recently, but seeing the streetcars and then standing on a streetcar when they had them on display in the parking lot in Chinatown, you're kind of like, all right, this is cool, I feel modern, it could be a fast way to get around. It sort of has that big city cachet that our bus system kind of lacks. And
People are afraid of the buses for
They
unknown
are.
reasons.
And
Well, yeah, why do you think people are afraid of the buses?
buses are different because you have to know a schedule a lot of times, so that's
You have to
intimidating
ask
people.
to get off.
You have to ring the bell to get or pull a cord.
I didn't know that the first time that I rode the bus. I was like, that's where I want to get off. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping?
Well, that brings up a good point. If you're not originally from this area and you're coming here and nobody's going to tell you, like, see that wire, pull it. Are you from here originally?
No, I'm
Where?
from Indiana.
So you grew up in a place that didn't have great public transportation like we
but
do.
a bus system that
But
was
they had
sort of
buses.
okay.
Sure,
Buses, yeah.
That's a car. I know what that is.
But Amish carts, as people like to joke about. We have a little bit of everything in Indiana.
Funny.
But
But your blog in particular, is it? I'm trying to get an idea as to how you would write. Just a quick synopsis.
Yeah.
Would you write about your particular journey or
Yeah.
journey of others, or would you provide information?
yeah, it's a great question because I didn't grow up here. We vacationed here as a family, came out here for stuff in high school and college, and really fell in love with the city. So it may be my particular adventure that day where I'm sitting on the Orange Line platform for an hour waiting to go somewhere because of a track malfunction. Or it could be hearkening back to a memory I had when I was 10 when I was out here with my family and we parked the old minivan out in Alexandria and then took the metro into Arlington Cemetery. So it draws on a combination of personal experiences and then sort of real world observations. What's the ridership like? How's the schedule? What's nearby? What's the pros and cons? And then what's the latest with going on with Metro and WMATA?
Do you think people are starting to look to you for like delays and things like that? Like, how come you're not telling us what's going on?
I am not your real-time information for the Metro as much as I'd like to be. I have a full-time job, but I'm hoping that if people are like, what's the L2, what's the Y3, and you can't Google these things, there's no information outside of the PDF on the Metro website. People can go to my site, go to my blog, and see, oh, that's where that bus goes, or maybe I should try this different route to get to where I want to go.
What, has the WMATA folks contacted you directly and said anything to you?
They have not.
Really?
Although they did say in an article I read that they monitor the blog. So
really?
They're watching me, but
Big brother.
yeah.
You'll know when your trains start coming,
But
like
you're
right
not
on time.
particularly critical of Metro, actually. I think other people have been more critical, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
Moving Momentarily is one that comes to mind that's pretty critical of Metro. But you actually share good stories, and not just about Metro, but also the places Metro can take you.
Right, and I think that's sort of the appeal of it too, is it's not just like bashing Metro. Trains are terrible, this was a bad experience. Everybody's going to have those. I like to keep those things in perspective and to think overall how lucky we are to live in a city where you don't have to own a car and you can get just about anywhere you want within a pretty large area. So I'm not all up with people about it all the time, but you know, you have to acknowledge how great some of these things are.
Right.
I didn't have this in Indiana. And it's really fortunate to live in the city, not own a car, and get where you want to go.
What's your biggest pet peeve about the train system?
Lack of information when you're sitting on the platform. That's my number one thing.
What about those light up signs that they have now that give you nothing?
It's all crap.
Yeah.
Or the light, they start
9
blinking 1
minutes.
minute before the train comes.
Again, the lack of information. If I'm going to sit here for half an hour, let me know about 5 minutes in so I can go upstairs and grab a bus or a cab. That's really all I ask.
Or
be
drink.
transparent. You know, whatever gets you home. But yeah, be transparent about what's happening, and you have a lot less frustration, I think.
Well, Metro is getting more transparency, and you're certainly helping with that, whether they've adopted you as an assistant in their efforts or not.
I'll tell you that my dream job, or when I get fired, is to do the doors closing thing. So if you hear about that,
Sure, any voiceover opportunities.
They did have one of those competitions, and you missed it. But
I missed it. I always seem to miss it.
if you want to hear about it,
Just
it
like the
sounds like
bus.
we might be able to get it.
Yeah, I've got the hookup.
Missing it just like the bus. You might be able to get the hookup on Metro Ventures.
Yes, it's emilyhaha.com. That's also Twitter handle and my LinkedIn profile. So yeah, it's an adventure and I have a lot of fun, so it kind of fits.
Haha, laughing all the way to the bus.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. We had a great time talking with you, and we always have a great time talking with you. Follow us on Twitter at The District Dish and be our fan on Facebook. See you next time.